On Lord of Lords, we are building up to the first semi-final, India versus New Zealand, and we've always got the biggest of experts on India today. Joining us live now from Manchester is Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, as well as Vikrant joins us from Manchester too. I'll come to you first, Mr. Gavaskar. Now, when you look at this, some of our experts have said time and again, it is completely lopsided. They've said that, you can't really, as far as cricket is concerned, unpredictable things do happen. But when you look at the matchup, New Zealand really going down as far as the last half of the tournament is concerned. India peaking, winning 7 of their 9 group matches. Is it mismatched? Is it Team India heavily favourite for you?
Yeah, pretty much so. I would imagine because of the kind of form that India has been in, the way they've played throughout the tournament, they seem to be just a little bit better than New Zealand. I do accept that in cricket anything can happen. Things can turn around and can churn in virtually 2 or 3 overs. But I do believe that this Indian team has the resilience to come out of that, as we have seen in the tournament so far.
You know, Vikrant, one thing that has happened in the past month is Indians have probably checked the weather in England as they have never checked it before. Now, there is a forecast for slight rains. There is expected to be overcast conditions. You're there in Manchester. Can you just put, the heart of all Indian fans to ease? What is the weather like right now?
Well, Radhika, it was overcast overnight. It did rain a bit. It rained a bit in the morning as well. But right now, 2 hours before the game, it still is very heavy. It's overcast, but it's not raining. It's not drizzling either. There is a forecast of a brief shower in about 3 hours from now. But I don't think the rain will impact the game, even though this overcast weather can. And surprisingly, not surprisingly, 2 hours before the game, 8:30 morning in Manchester, we've got the Indian fans lining up. I don't know. I really will. It is difficult to predict the result of the game. One thing that I can safely predict is we will struggle to find even 100 Kiwi supporters inside the ground. And of the 30,000 people expected to be at the ground, we'll have more than 29,000 Indians. In fact, there's this World Cup here. This is what they're fighting for. This is what they're fighting for. Already you are saying Jeetega India. You're not even giving a chance to the Kiwis, huh?
No. Of course, we know that India will definitely win, and Kohli is going to score his first century.
Yes, of course, it will be a repeat of 1983.
1983, but you're playing New Zealand now.
Forget it, New Zealand or Australia or Pakistan, we are going to beat them. Either of the 3 teams we are going to beat and win the World Cup. That's it.
It's going to be India.
It's not World Cup. It's not World Cup. It's Virat Cup.
India. Now itself we can write it as in India.
Oh.
Now itself we can write it for next 4 years.
For next 4 years.
Yes.
Not 8 years. Not 8 years. 2023 is also in India.
Yes, India. Yeah.
But amazing scenes here in early morning, Radhika. You've got the Indian fans. Aren't you guys going inside the ground?
No.
Why?
We are waiting for the bus. Indian team bus.
Oh, they're waiting for the Indian team bus. The players will be on the way to this ground, Radhika. But then, do expect the Indian fans out there in huge numbers. But I think the problem for the Indians now could be what 11 to decide on. Because in this weather, you would ideally want to play 3 fast bowlers. So do you leave out the extra spinner or do you leave out the extra batsman? That's the question for them.
Vikrant, the team will really need to figure out that combination because we have tried to play the same 11, but looking at conditions, the team has made those changes. And will the weather come into play? Boria also joins us now from Manchester. Now, Boria, you've been getting us the inside scoop as to what sort of 11 the team is going to field. We've seen the skies. They are slightly overcast, really not that much of rain. Will that change the combination that India may decide to field today? Do you see that extra pacer playing, or do you feel that the team might go in with the 2 wristies? What is it that you're hearing as far as the team combination for today's semi-final is concerned?
Firstly, good morning, and I've got the champion Michael Clark with me, who had before I answer that question, I have to ask Michael to tell you what he discussed with Virat exactly 2 minutes back in the lobby as the team is having breakfast and getting ready to go to the ground. You must tell
I can't remember. I can't remember. I wished him all the best for today's game. I think it's going to be a huge game against New Zealand. I think Virat seems so relaxed. That's one of the things I did notice. Saying good morning to him, seeing him come out of the lift, he's in great spirits. He seems relaxed. Even the other guys walking into breakfast, nice and calm. So they're in a good place. And thankfully, we wake up, there's no rain. It's overcast, but there's no rain. So I think today is going to be an unbelievable game of cricket.
You know, okay, he doesn't want to say, let me say. So he calls Virat and says, I have to talk to you. And Virat comes with a really serious face and Michael says, I need to borrow one of your shirts in London. And Virat is like, what? And I say, yes, he's promised me to wear that shirt for his India Today show. And Virat just bursts out laughing. That's exactly 2 minutes back in the hotel lobby as the Indian team is getting ready to leave for the ground. Now to the team combination. What he and I were discussing, you know, the only call is it three pacers or because at this point, Jadeja and Dinesh Karthik are both playing. That's what the news is. Both playing. And they're going with Bhuvi and they're going with Bumrah. But can this weather influence the third seamer? Let me ask him. What do you think?
I think, yeah, obviously that's the consideration for India. They have to work out, do they go three specialist fast bowlers and Hardik as the fourth? Or do they go two specialist fast bowlers, Hardik as the third, and then play two spinners? And I think India's got it spot in regards to, you know what, this is our 12. We've got the option for the extra spinner or the extra fast bowler. Let's now see what the conditions are at the time of tossing the coin, and let's see what the pitch is like. I think that's the smartest way. And again, that's one of the luxuries India has. They've got the option. Not many teams have that option. A lot of teams will announce their 11 because they haven't got an option to go with a second spinner or go with the extra fast bowler. So I think India's in a good place to make that judgment at the time of Virat Kohli tossing that coin.
In fact, what I was hearing was this pitch is hard and good for batting is what the team thinks. It's a fresh wicket, good hard batting deck. So that's what has influenced the choice of two spinners, two fast bowlers with DK at 7 and Jadeja at 8. So that gives you real deep batting in a big semi-final.
I think that's a smart call. There's been a lot of talk about not playing Dinesh Karthik as a number 6 batsman, and then you've got Hardik at 7 if they play Jadeja at 8. I think for a semi-final and a final, I would go with the extra batting. I would stick with the batting. So far in this tournament, Dinesh Karthik hasn't really had an opportunity because the top order's doing so well. And you hope, if that's the case in the semi-final and the final, then that's fantastic. But if you lose 1, 2, 3 wickets early, you've got the security of knowing class player at number 6, power of Hardik Pandya at number 7, and then the all-rounder, if they go with Jadeja at number 8, that's a lot of depth, that's a lot of security for India. That also allows the top order to play with freedom because you know you've got some batsmen down the lower order that can still, you know, bat for 10, 20 overs, whatever's required. So I think that is a smart selection, and then I think you pick, is the wicket conducive to extra pace or extra spin?
So Radhika, just to tell you the team at this point, Kuldeep Yadav gives way to Yuzvendra Chahal. Ravindra Jadeja, Dinesh Karthik both play. So one change is what we are getting from the team that played against Sri Lanka, and that is Kuldeep Yadav gives way to Yuzvendra Chahal. Rest of the team at this point with, 1.5 hours to go for the game, remains the same.
India are a confident unit, Boria, like you and Michael have been talking about how they've really, they've not really bothered about the opposition. They've, kept all the talk about probably New Zealand being the easiest of the semi-finalists side. I'll get Mr. Gavaskar into the conversation now. And yes, New Zealand probably not the favourites in this tie. But when you look at that team, is there anything that you feel the Indian team need to be wary of?
I think the big threat for the Indians is Trent Boult in the in his first spell. He gets the ball to swing. He's got a very good bouncer. He's very, very aggressive. So if the Indians don't lose wickets in the first 10 overs, then you can be pretty certain that they'll have a pretty good score on the board. Yes, the conditions won't be easy, being a little bit overcast at this situation, and with the weather forecast being that there'll be scattered showers. But I do believe that if India get off to a good start, then they won't be stopped till they get to 280, maybe even 300.
Now, before I go back to Boria and Michael, a lot of talk before the semi-final has been about what happened a decade back. 2008 Under-19 World Cup semi-final. It was a young Virat Kohli taking on a young Kane Williamson. He happened to dismiss Kane Williamson in that match as well. Now, both these captains, in fact, skippers, were asked about that match, what they could remember from it, and this is what the two had to say.
I'll actually remind Kane also. I'm sure he remembers when we meet tomorrow. I'm going to remind him. It's quite a nice thing to realize that 11 years after, we're captaining our respective nations again in a senior World Cup from under-19. So, yeah, we've spoken about it before. A lot of players from that whole World Cup, from our batch, from their batch, from other teams as well, made it to their national teams and are still playing. So, which is, I think, a great thing to see. So I think it's a really nice memory, and we'll both feel good about knowing that this is happening, and it always feels no one could have, neither me nor him could have ever anticipated that one day this will happen. But yeah, it's a really nice thing.
You got his wicket.
I got Kane's wicket.
Yes.
Did I? I don't know if that can happen again now.
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about that at all. So I guess that's kind of cool, isn't it? That, a few years later, we're here again, perhaps on a slightly different stage, but pretty special, and a lot of respects to be able to lead your country out in a semi-final on the biggest stage. But I know both sides, without a doubt, are looking forward to getting into the challenge, and it's a really exciting opportunity.
Apparently he got you out that day as well. Do you remember that?
Oh dear. Well, tell me how.
I haven't actually seen the video.
He used to be an all-rounder, I think, back in the day, but hasn't bowled as much recently. Yep.
Boria, both the captains really had a laugh about the fact that almost a decade back, Virat Kohli got Kane Williamson out in that semi-final of the Under-19 Cricket World Cup. When you look back at that, both of them said they hadn't really expected to be here again, captaining their sides at such a big stage. There are other players as well. Bolt was part of that team too. Jadeja was, I guess Saudi was as well. What does Michael feel about this reunion almost a decade later of the two captains?
I'll ask him that. She's asking Virat and Kane 11 years back, under-19 captains. Now they're back again, senior World Cup captains again. Bolt, Saudi and Jadeja also part of that. What do you think of this? This is incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing how it works. It's, you play against people from such a young age, and then through your career, you have that same challenge at the highest level as well, playing for your country. So, yeah, look, I think that it's quite a good contest, two wonderful players. Virat, I think we know how great a player he is, and I think we've been fortunate to see Kane be the standout for New Zealand over a long period of time as well. The difference between Kane and Virat at the moment is I feel like New Zealand relies so heavily on Kane in regards to his batting and his leadership, where I feel like India have probably got a few more options. At the moment, you've got Rohit Sharma in terrific form. You've got the experienced mind of MS Dhoni for Virat to be able to go to in pressure situations. You got Bumrah bowling like a genius. So, there's so much expectation and pressure on Kane Williamson to really stand up for New Zealand, and I think New Zealand need him. He needs to make a big 100 for New Zealand to make enough runs to compete with India.
And I've asked you this question, Michael, already. I mean, you and I have been at the hotel lobby from 7:30 in the morning. Yeah. It's full of Indian supporters waiting outside for the team bus to leave as the players were coming down, hotel security having an issue. Ground will be 25,000 blue. This will be also added pressure on New Zealand, because the moment somebody comes out there, one good ball, one catch, one wicket, from a shot from the Indians, will be cheered like mad.
It's a home game for India. It seems like every game India plays, no matter where they play in the world, it's a home game. India has the greatest supporters in the world. There's no doubt about it. We spoke about it last night at dinner. It was the whole environment here in Manchester is so supportive of India. And I think as a player, that's what you want. That's what you cherish. You look forward to your country and your team getting behind you. And from India's perspective, they've got it today for the semi-final. If they win and make the final, they'll definitely have it at Lord's. So every team that plays against India, that's an extra challenge. Not only do you have to beat the team, you've got to beat the crowd as well. And, I think Virat uses the crowd really well. You'll see at times through the game, he'll be like, louder, I want you louder, or the team might be a little bit flat, they haven't got a wicket, and he'll look for some energy in the crowd. You know, he knows, and the Indian team knows they've got that support back in India. There's no doubt about it. But they've also got it on the ground in England, and that has huge advantage.
You know, Radhika, we just met Hardik, we met Ravi, we met Bharat, we met Virat. I mean, you've got to believe the body language. Both of us were talking about it. They're just extreme. And we also met KL Rahul. I mean, body language relaxed, entirely focused, listening to music, going in for breakfast. If body language is anything to go by, this Indian team is definitely in that space.
You know, Boria, of course, like you've been talking about, the team has dominated. Almost all players have performed, and that is why probably they are in that positive frame of mind. They're not worried about the opponent. They're just worried about their performance. But why is it that India has performed so brilliantly in the World Cup? Two players stand out for them. Of course, it's Rohit Sharma and Jasprit Bumrah. Both departments covered. Here's Simon Dool with Sanjay Manjrekar decoding what makes India such a powerful unit.
ICC Men's Cricket World Cup action, and it's semi-final time. Old Trafford the venue. New Zealand up against India. Familiar foes. India were in New Zealand just last summer and they were far too good for New Zealand. That's why Sanjay Manjrekar is here. That's why India are favourites. Sanjay, they go in as favourites. How do they feel about that?
Which means pressure, right? That is what you're trying to do. Put India under pressure, which they love. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Virat Kohli, you get to see their best when they're under pressure. In fact, they're nonchalant under pressure, and that's why I back this team to go very far in this tournament, purely because they just handle the big stage better than most other teams in the tournament.
All right, well, one of the guys that has handled it absolutely brilliantly has been Rohit Sharma. He has been outstanding. 500s in this World Cup. When you look at this wagon wheel all around the ground, but one thing we haven't seen too much from Rohit Sharma this tournament is the sixes. Only a few sixes scattered around, so he's been brilliant at scoring all around the ground. Why, Sanjay?
Lifeline of any one-day innings are those other colours that you see there. Not the yellow streaks, but the ones and the twos. So he's done that pretty well. Dot ball person to just come down. Technically, one very important thing that he's done is Rohit Sharma's footwork is the same. He's a guy who takes small step forward, small step back, that's all. But his bat has always been a problem, especially in foreign conditions where it tends to go away from the body like this to line outside the off stump. You know, play like this, get caught in the slips and be a little vulnerable inside it onto the pads. This tournament, his bat has been very close to the body. Even if the ball has jagged away, he's just happy to let it go. So frozen, still bat, very close to the body, no matter what, has been the foundation of his great exploits so far.
Just 31 runs away from breaking Sachin Tendulkar's record for the most runs by any batsman at a World Cup. New Zealand must dismiss him early tomorrow. From a bowling point of view, India's bowling has been very good. Spinners have struggled a little bit, but Jasprit Bumrah, absolutely outstanding. Not only with the new ball, at the death with the old ball as well. When you look at his wickets at the death, back end, we've got 4 wickets right up there, very, very full. We've got 3 wickets with that slower ball as well. These are in the last 10 overs. So you cannot just set up for the Yorker when you're facing Jasprit Bumrah, because he's got the bouncer that'll knock your head off, or he's got that slower ball as well. What makes him so good? How do you play him?
I mean, he's got so many variations and control over those variations under pressure as well. So he's somebody who won't lose accuracy because the pressure is high. The more difficult ball to hit, which I believe is the ball of this World Cup, is that slow, short ball with a loopy kind of trajectory. When it comes to the batsman, it comes this way. And that ball you're supposed to tong for big 4s and 6s on side boundaries, which are going to be quite long. So that's the ball to watch out for. Yorker, on occasion, he might just get it offline. You've got a chance to just, use the pace. But respect Bumrah for his variations, for his smartness. Don't preconceive anything. Just react to the ball and try and get 6-7 runs in over. You might just get 10. But if you try to get 12 or 14, you'll get out.
Yeah, well, there you go. If Rohit Sharma succeeds, if Jasprit Bumrah succeeds, there are many more talented players in this Indian side, but those guys have been brilliant throughout the tournament. Then India succeeds.
You know, Boria, we just heard Manjrekar and Dool talk about how the success of Rohit Sharma is really, the backbone of the way the Indian team has played. 26 short of breaking Sachin Tendulkar's record of most runs in a single edition. Today, when Rohit Sharma walks out today, do you feel that battle between Rohit Sharma and Trent Boult could really define how this match, proceeds later on?
Rohit Sharma versus Trent Bolt is what she wants to know. Will that define this game? Rohit has been exceptional so far in this World Cup.
I hope it doesn't define the game. I think there's going to be a lot more to it than that. But the matchup is a great thing for a viewer, for a fan. Rohit has been in exceptional form. He's been the batsman of the tournament. And I think Trent Bolt has been one of the best bowlers. His skill is not only his accuracy, but the way he can swing the ball. And in conditions like this, I would imagine we're going to see some swing. So,
how much do these conditions influence swing?
They do. Being overcast, particularly in this country, help. But the other thing, Trent Bolt's been able to swing this brand new ball more than any other bowler in the World Cup. So it's his action, it's his technique, it's his style. So I would imagine no matter what the conditions, it's going to swing a little bit. This might enhance that. So the challenge for India's top order, particularly the top three, they're all right-handed, is to protect the stumps. Don't give up LBW, don't give up getting bowled. It's about playing Trent Bolt straight because that ball's going to swing back into a right-hander.
The reason I asked you this was Mohammad Amir. I mean, same conditions, almost same conditions, overcast, rainy. He wasn't able to get the ball to swing, and Rahul and Rohit got off to a great start.
Yeah, again, I think different bowlers. I think Trent Bolt, like I say, his accuracy is one of his most important skills, but he's capable of swinging the ball in any conditions. And generally, in England, if it's overcast, it swings more. But either way, I think no matter what conditions, he'll find a little bit of swing. The other thing about India's top order, I think they'll look at Trent Bolt and say, okay, our job is to not give him wickets. We don't need to take him for too many runs. So if he bowls 10 overs for 50 runs with no wickets, India have done their job because New Zealand have other bowlers that I think the Indian batsmen can attack.
And good conditions for batting, but overcast, what do you do? Bat? Because Sachin and you both said Pakistan game, so what if it's overcast? Good batting deck, good pitch, go bat.
I think bat. I can't see the pitch right now, but if the pitch is what I saw Australia versus South Africa, what I saw India versus Pakistan, and generally in Manchester, it's a very good batting surface. I'm assuming the pitch is going to be like that for a semi-final of a World Cup. I would win the toss and bat. I still think runs on the board builds extra pressure for the team batting second. So I think both teams will want to bat first.
So there you go, Radhika. Michael Fields win toss bat first. The Indians have done that in the past against Pakistan. The Indians have done that against the West Indies. Can they do it again and close this game out?
So, win toss, bat first, and if India does bat first, everybody will be looking at the scoreboard. If Rohit Sharma does get those 26 runs, should be easy enough for him, considering he's already got 500s in this World Cup. Mr. Gavaskar, the way Rohit Sharma has played, what has been different in this World Cup for him? How impressed are you with his batting?
He's in sublime form, isn't he? He's batting absolutely unbelievably. He's been the rock for India. And he's given the kind of starts that has made life a little more easy for the likes of Virat Kohli coming at 3 or down the order. So even down the order, when 4, 5, 6 have not really contributed big runs, the fact that Rohit Sharma has held the innings together, got 100, and gone on for more, has helped ease the burden on 4, 5 and 6. And if he continues the same form in the next 2 games, then you can be pretty guaranteed that India will on Sunday be the world champions once again.
So we are gearing up for that mega semi-final, India versus New Zealand, the first semi-final of the 2019 Cricket World Cup. Boria, Michael and Mr. Gavaskar, thank you for joining us. They'll all be back with us at 2 p.m. But right now it is time to slip into a very short break. On the other side, you will hear from Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar what he feels about the semi-final tie. And as far as India today is concerned, we are ready. We've got our music, we've got our dhols, and we are ready to celebrate India's road to the finals, if that is how the match translates once it begins in Manchester at 3 p.m.
For watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.